You have probably seen dash mechanics in games like Hollow Knight. So in this video, we are going to build that system for our 2D character in Unity. First, let's create all variables required for our dash system. We need a dash speed to control how fast the player moves during the dash, and a dash duration to control how long the dash lasts. We also add a cooldown so the player can't spam the dash continuously. Along with that, we use a few stat variables like isDashing and canDash to control the dash logic. And finally, we add a variable to limit the dash in air, so the player can only dash once while in the air. Now, let's create a dash input action. Make sure you open your input action asset by double-clicking it from project window. If you try to edit input from project settings, you would not get the full editor. Here, we get access to all features like adding actions, bindings, and autosave. Now let's create a new action called dash. We will set its type to button and bind it to a key. I am using control, but you can use any key you prefer. You can also add bindings for other devices like gamepad, depending on your project. Once we save the asset, Unity automatically updates the generated input script. And now we can access the dash action directly inside our code. Now, let's go to our script and create a function called OnDash. This function will be triggered whenever the dash button is pressed. We receive the input using callback context from the input system, but you don't need to worry too much about it. It simply tells us that input has been performed. Inside this function, we first check few conditions. First, we check if canDash is true. This ensures that dash is not on cooldown, so the player is allowed to dash again. Next, we check if the player is not already dashing. This prevents the dash from being triggered multiple times while dash is already in progress. After that, we add another condition to control air dash. We allow the dash if the player is on the ground or if the player has not dashed yet in the air. This way, the player can dash multiple times on the ground but only once while in the air. If all these conditions are satisfied, we start the dash function. Now, let's implement the dash logic using coroutine. A coroutine allows us to execute code over time, which is perfect for something like dash. First, we set canDash to false. This ensures that player cannot trigger another dash immediately. Next, we set isDashing to true. Right now, we are just marking that player is in dash state. Later, we use this variable to stop normal movement during the dash. Now, we store the current gravity value. We do this so we can restore it after the dash ends. Then, we set the gravity scale to 0. This makes the dash feel straight and smooth, without the player falling during the dash. Next, we calculate dash direction based on which way the player is facing. If the player is facing right, we dash to right, otherwise to the left. Now we apply velocity in that direction. This is what actually creates a dash movement. If the player is in the air, we mark that they have already dashed. This helps us limit the dash to only once while in the air. After that, we wait for short duration. This controls how long the dash lasts. Once the dash duration is over, we restore the original gravity and we set isDashing back to false. Finally, we wait for cooldown duration, and after that, we allow the player to dash again by setting canDash to true. And that's it. Here we simply start the dash coroutine. Now, we need to connect our dash input to this function. We do this inside onEnable. Here, we subscribe our dash input action to OnDash function. This means whenever the dash button is pressed, our dash function will be called. And inside onDisable, we remove this subscription. This is important to prevent unwanted behavior or memory issues when the object is disabled. Now, our input is properly connected to our dash system. Now we need to reset our air dash when the player lands. Inside the update function, we are already checking when the player touched the ground. And when that happens, we set has dashed in air back to false. This allows the player to dash again after landing. Now, to make dash feel clean, we need to stop normal movement while player is dashing. We do this inside fix update. Before applying the movement, we simply check if isDashing is true. If it is, we return immediately and skip the movement logic. This ensures that dash movement is not affected by normal player movement. And that's it. Our dash system is now complete. Let's test it. As you can see, the dash feels smooth and responsive. We can dash multiple times on the ground and only once in the air, which keeps the gameplay balanced. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more Unity game development tutorial. And see you in the next one.